Today on Tales by Ojemba is Consequences Series Part 8, The Broken Tears. Vivian and Ikenna got married 3 years ago. Their marriage was a peaceful one. They were like best of friends. Ikenna is a mega contractor. He owns his own housing construction firm, while his wife Vivian works as a secretary to a distributing firm. Vivian is a devout Christian and a lead member in the church choir. She is very prayerful. She always urges her husband to pray always. But one thing always bothers Ikenna, that after 3 years of marriage, they are childless. He told his wife his concerns about their childlessness. His wife calmly consoled him and told him to remember that God's time is the best. While they were having dinner that day, his wife told him that they should visit their church pastor the next day for special prayers. The next day, they drove to the church. They met with Pastor Joshua, who counseled them and told them to go back to the hospital to run some tests. They said they have been going for tests. He advised them to stay true to one another and also prayed for them before they left. Feeling fulfilled that evening, they agreed to go back again to see their family doctor the next day. The next day, they drove to the hospital. They met with Dr. Francis, their family doctor, who greeted them and took some samples for lab tests. They ran some tests with the samples. When the result came out, it showed that Ikenna still has low sperm count. He began to cry. Dr. Francis told him that there is a slight improvement, that with the drugs and diet he prescribed for them, that in no distant time he will have healthy sperms to make his wife pregnant. They went to the pharmacy to get the drugs and supplement that was prescribed by Dr. Francis. Back at home, Ikenna asked his wife if they can adopt a baby while they wait for God's time. The wife vehemently refused, telling her husband to have faith in God. A few weeks passed. Vivian met Nneka, one of her friends, after work. They got talking and Vivian told her the problem she and her husband are facing. Nneka advised her to go see Prophet Ishaya, a spiritual man of wonders, that he will surely help them. She later convinced her husband and they went to see the prophet. He took them to the river banks and prayed for them. They went home fulfilled. They lived happily with faith and hope in God for miracle. One day, they attended a wedding. As they were about to leave, Ikenna excused himself to use the restroom. As he was heading back where his wife was seated, he saw a man talking to his wife. As the man saw him coming, he got up and left. As they were heading home, he asked his wife who the man was. The wife laughed and told him that he just came to toast her. Ikenna told his wife that's because she was so beautiful that very day. They laughed so hard as Ikenna drove home. A week later, they both went shopping. Ikenna left his wife to go pick up some wine. As she was picking out things for herself, she heard a voice from behind call her name. It was Fred, the guy that met her at the wedding. He approached her and started talking to her. As Ikenna was returning to his wife, he saw that the man was talking to his wife. When Fred saw Ikenna coming back, he left Vivian alone and walked away. As they were driving home, Ikenna asked his wife in a more concerning voice what the man wants with her. She said that the man was disturbing her for her phone number, but she has told him that she's married and she also wants him to stop disturbing her. 2 days later, as Ikenna was buying fuel for his car at the fuel station, he saw Fred. He immediately confronted him and still warned him to stay clear of his wife Vivian, that the next time he will involve the police. Fred laughed at him and said to him, "So you are Vivian's husband? I pity you, bro." Fred entered his car and left. As Ikenna was going home that day, he was confused by the words of Fred. He was totally dumbfounded. He didn't know of what to make of that statement. When he got home, he went to arrange his closet. Immediately, he saw a big envelope inside his closet. As he opened it, he saw some drugs, but it was different from the ones he has been taking. He has never seen his wife take those drugs before. Also, inside the envelope was a lab result. It was the wife's lab result. He noticed that the date in the result was that very day. He took pictures of the drug and the results with his phone and kept the envelope back where he found it. The next day, he went to see a different doctor. He showed him the results and the drugs. The doctor told him that his wife has a ruptured uterus, that there is a slim chance of her getting pregnant. The doctor referred him to another fertility clinic for more examinations. There, he met with Dr. Toby. He showed the doctor the same pictures he took of the results and the drug. The doctor told him that they would do some tests on him to see if he's truly sterile. They took some samples and ran some tests in the lab. When the result came out, it showed that Ikenna was not sterile, that he is very much okay with a viable, healthy sperms. As he got home from the hospital that evening, he met his wife in the kitchen making dinner. He was furious and confronted his wife with the pictures of the drugs and the result he found inside their closet. The wife started accusing him for going through her stuffs. She was trying to shift the blame on Ikenna. They got into a hot argument that Ikenna stood his grounds and asked her to give him explanations. They got into a small fight. When she found out that Ikenna was dead serious, she fell on the ground and started crying. She was blaming the devil for trying to use her husband to destroy their marriage. When she finally saw that Ikenna was not moved by her tears, she started to confess. She told Ikenna that back when she was in school, that she was a wayward girl. There is no big party in town she will miss. That was how she met friends who introduced her into prostitution. She started sleeping with different men. She had big clients. Wealthy men took her to different exotic hotels. That was how she started doing abortions. She said she did countless number of abortions. She said she once aborted a 5-month-old pregnancy, that the procedure nearly cost her her life, but she had to spend several days at the hospital. That Dr. Francis was the one who carried out most of her abortions, that he warned her that she might have slim or no chance of getting pregnant after that very abortion. But it did not stop her from her wayward life. She said she attended a party with one of her friends, Tasha. That Tasha followed one wealthy man to his hotel room after the party. It was after 2 days that they heard that Tasha was killed at the hotel room and the man has not been called by the police, that they suspect is a ritual killing. That it was that particular incident that made her, Vivian, to repent, to give her life to Christ and start attending church. She joined the church choir and became dedicated in church. That was when Ikenna, met her and they started dating. She said she didn't want to tell him about her ugly past, that she loved him and accepted his proposal to marry him. That she was the one who convinced him to make Dr. Francis their family doctor, so Dr. Francis will help her to be manipulating the results. She said that once the doctor says that Ikenna is the problem for their childlessness, that he won't consider to abandon her and the marriage. Vivian was now crying and asking for forgiveness. She blamed the devil for deceiving her when she was in the world. She told Ikenna that he is now ready for adoption. Ikenna got furious and mad with anger. He went inside their room and threw all her bags out of the house. He told her that the marriage is over, that he couldn't believe that Vivian would do that type of evil and vile thing to him. She took all her belongings and went to stay with her friend Nneka. Nneka told her to forget about Ikenna and focus on her life, but Vivian swore to make Ikenna pay for deciding to end their marriage and disgracing her. Vivian called Fred. She asked Fred to come meet her at the bar in the evening. Fred was one of the clients back in the day. She told Fred Ikenna was paid a large sum of money for a project he's undertaking. She told Fred that she would like to get that money from her ex-husband, that he can kill Ikenna after the transaction is done. He agreed to the deal. Fred contacted his gang. The next day, they stormed Ikenna's house and kidnapped him. As they were driving out of the street, they came face to face with military men going back to their barracks. Sensing danger, Fred and his gang started shooting at the soldiers, but the soldiers overpowered them. They killed 2 of the kidnappers and arrested Fred. They rescued Ikenna while Fred confessed to the crime. With Fred's confession, Vivian was arrested and charged to court. She was sentenced to prison. Ikenna finalized the divorce and was free of the evil woman. The end. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. Thanks.